Shelf came down at 2:40 in the morning. It missed Pearl by about 8 inches. Pearl was a 61-year-old local hired to help with the little girl. She was the last person in that house who didn't believe a word of it. She heard the child say, very calmly, in the dark, "He's in here." Pearl got up and crossed the hall. And the bookshelf, solid oak, bolted to the wall, went over like something had put two hands flat against it, pushed. Would have landed on Pearl. She had been one step further into that room. She was not a believer when she walked in. She was something else by morning. I want to start before the house, before the ridge, before Virginia, and before any of it. Because to understand what eventually came for this family, you have to understand the little girl that it came for first, and the man whose voice it took. Marin and Cole moved up from Florida the summer their daughter Della turned 10. Wanted what everybody wants. A quiet place, space, 40 miles of view from a ridge in southwest Virginia. They wanted a creek, barn, gray rock bluff on the farmhouse like a wall. Cole could work from anywhere. They sold the house in Florida and bought the farmhouse on the ridge and started over. Della had been blind since birth. I need you to sit with that just to see what it meant in that family, because it's pretty much the whole story. Cole was her eyes, not in some greeting card way, in a real, daily, hour by hour way he'd built from the time she was an infant. He told her what color the sky was during each sunset. He told her the shape of a horse, told her what snow looked like falling through a street light. Not what it felt like. She knew what it felt like, but what it looked like. The way it caught the light, the way it seemed to slow down. Every night before bed, he described what the world looked like to her. Whatever he had seen the day, whatever she had missed, she fell asleep to his voice. That's the family that moved on to the ridge. It's what was there to lose. They'd been on the ridge for about 4 months when it happened. Cole checking the back fence line, maybe 30 yards from the bluff. Marin was inside. Della was on the porch. The rock slide lasted less than 20 seconds. Della, she heard the rocks. Told her mother later she heard a sound, kind of like the world clearing its throat. Then it stopped. Then it was quiet. She called for her dad. No one answered. Marin found him at the base of the bluff. He was gone before the ambulance reached the ridge. Grief in a house like that doesn't spread evenly. Pools in places. Marin's grief was visible. Moved through the house like she was on autopilot. Della's grief was quieter. She had stopped asking to go outside, stopped asking anyone to describe things to her. She sat in her room a lot. Sat on her bed in the dark, which was for her the same as any other room. Told her mother once that it was too quiet now. Not in the house, the world. World too quiet. Marin hired Pearl about 6 weeks after the accident. Pearl was not, she told me later, the kind of person who put much stock in things that she couldn't see. That was before she took the job. First time Della mentioned it, Aaron thought she was dreaming. 2 months after Cole had died, Della woke Marin up around midnight, knocked on the door. She never did. She stood in the hallway and said calmly, not frightened. Daddy had been in her room talking to her. Aaron sat with that for a while, told her it was probably a dream, that it was okay to dream about him. Della said it wasn't a dream. He said he'd described the bluff, what it looked like from below in the dark, what the rocks looked like right before they moved. Aaron didn't sleep much after that. The voice came back. Not every night. That's the detail Marin kept coming back to. It wasn't every night. Somehow made it worse. 3 nights, then nothing for a week. 2 nights, then silence for 10 days. Almost like it was learning the rhythm of the house, learning when to push and when to pull back. Della never seemed frightened. She'd report it to her mother in the morning the way another child might report a dream, matter-of-factly, with details. Tell me about the creek. Tell me about what the barn looks like from the ridge road at night. Here's one thing that Marin noticed, slowly. Over those weeks, Cole had never described those things to Della. Barn from the ridge road at night, that wasn't a view. Cole would have had no reason to describe that to her. Details that were real, because Marin checked. But Cole had no reason to have ever narrated this to his daughter. But whatever was using his voice had learned the land, was filling in the gaps that Cole had never gotten to do. Earl heard it for the first time on a Thursday afternoon. She was in the kitchen. Della was in her room. Earl heard a man's voice coming from down the hall. Clear, conversational. Kind of voice that belongs to someone who was comfortable in that house. She thought Marin had come home early with someone. She walked toward the hallway to say hello. Voice coming from Della's room. Marin, home. No car in the drive. No one in the house except Pearl and the little girl. Pearl stood in the hallway for a long time. Long enough to hear complete sentences. Long enough to be certain what she was hearing. Then the voice stopped, and Della said to the room, whatever was in it, "Good night, Daddy." Pearl went back to the kitchen and sat down. Didn't say anything to Marin until after Delilah was in bed. Marin called someone. Person she found, someone at the county seat who knew about this kind of thing. Person came to the house and walked through it. Told Marin something was there. Something had gotten comfortable. Something knew the family well enough to know exactly where to put its weight. Told Marin to keep Della out of her room for a few nights if she could. Della wouldn't do it. Said Daddy came to see her. She wasn't going to lock him out. She said it the way a 10-year-old says something that is completely, quietly movable. Marin didn't push it. The shelf came down 4 nights later. 2:40 in the morning. Pearl in the spare room. The sound of Della saying into the dark, very calmly, "He's in here." Pearl crossed the hall. The shelf went over. Whatever had been in that room, whatever had spent weeks learning Cole's voice and Cole's rhythms, geography of a piece of land that Cole loved, was gone. Just like that. Between one breath and the next, the room was empty in a way that it hadn't been in months. Della cried for 3 days, not because she was frightened, because she thought her father had left again. Marin told me she still doesn't know what to call what was in that house. She's not sure if it was evil. Not exactly. It never hurt Della, never threatened her. Gave her daughter something she desperately needed and lost. Father's voice, describing a world she couldn't see. It was still learning. Aaron is sure of that. It's filling in details Cole had never given her. And it was getting better at being him. And whatever it was becoming, whatever it would have been, given more time. She doesn't finish that sentence when she tells it. About what Della said when it was over. She thought her father had left again. That for a few weeks, she'd had him back. Or at least she had something that was wearing him. Then, gone. And she had to grieve over it twice. I don't know what's worse. Having something like that in your house, or losing it. This is Marin's story. What's yours? Guys, if you like this episode, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Hope you enjoyed this. Good night.